on Wednesday, December 17th. I appreciate you joining us today. I do see that Sherry Bethel is on. So Sherry, please feel free to give your insight and your advice on this topic because this did come from you in your region. And we will be discussing agent invoice statements and just some of the ways that you can assist accounting and your agents in keeping them up to date on their payments. So the first thing that we'll jump into is account tech, Darwin. And you will see that under this middle section right here under person information, it does show you agents with CC expired and agents with CC expiring soon. So that can be a good place to go to see if you have any agents that have credit card numbers expiring soon, because then you can get ahead of it, get a new number from them. And I'll show you in a minute what they can do with that number to be able to securely send that into accounting. And then this will allow us to stay kind of on top of when they do have their monthly MLS dues or their quarterly professional fees or whatever it might be billed to their account. So those two things should be showing up on your dashboard, much like everything else in our dashboard. We want to keep it as clean as possible. So those two things can go a long way to help out. And then the next thing that you can do, whether it's monthly, maybe every other month, it is nice to just run the report to see where your agents are at when it comes to their accounts payable with the company. So you can do that here by going to reports. And then I believe it is under the accounting report, accounting tab, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me, while I have to zoom in to be able to see.
Under the AR history, agent invoice.
Yep. Thank you. Agent invoice statement right here. So when you click on that to launch it, and if you're like me, I like to put my favorite in. Oh, well, this one isn't my favorites. Look at that. I like to put the reports I go back to, whether it's weekly, monthly, and quarterly. I like to put them in my favorites. It just makes it that much easier to find. And you can do that by clicking over here. So once you have that come up, you'll see that just like every other report in Darwin, it gives you the option to customize it. So if you're doing this monthly, then you can do last month. If you're doing it quarterly, you can do last quarter, kind of whatever time frame is that you're looking at. And then of course it autofills your dates. And then if you want your active agents to show up here, let me just pick an office so that this doesn't take all day to run for all offices. We'll pick on Cadillac. I think I saw Tia on. And then, of course, you can click preview if you want it to pop up or send email and preview. So maybe you're going to be talking about this with your manager. So maybe you want to send this as an email and then also preview it so that you're prepared to have that conversation. And then you click preview. And then once that comes up, hopefully, doesn't look like it, there it goes. You'll see then that it'll show you the people that maybe have a balance and what that balance would be. So you'll see that is one of 11 here. So you'll see that you can flip through these. You can always or download this Excel report or a PDF if you want. So you have the option, but keep in mind your page count here at the top. Some people miss things sometimes because they forget that they need to flip through the page count there. So Sherry, anything you want to add at this point?
Yeah, I like to do the year-to-date view or a little bit longer. And it's just to see a little bit of a pattern to make sure that overall, because 1 month might be, especially it gives you a good information on what that balance is from. So that's the way I kind of like to do it. And then really, my manager decided that it was if those balances were over $500. So, because obviously each month there is a little bit of a balance because it might be that something got charged, but they this month, but they paid last month's. So there might be a little bit of a balance in there each month. So I wouldn't report on a little bit of a balance. It's the ones that you want to see that are of a higher dollar, or ones that you're seeing are not being charged off at all to a credit card, or no check coming in, kind of thing. Those are the ones that I pay a little bit more attention to. So like this one with $110, I would whiz right by that, and look great. You can tell with the red things that they're being charged each month, so that part is great. So we look for the bigger amounts. Like I said, for us, it's 500 or more. So I would just ask your manager how they want you to handle that piece.
And I think 500 is a good threshold, but again, have that conversation with your manager, see kind of what they prefer. Every region might be slightly different just based on some either culture or some of what their charges might be. Every MLS is a little bit different. Some charge us as the broker, so we have to charge it back to the agents. Other MLSs, the agents can pay directly. So it's a little different everywhere. So thank you for that, Sherry. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Go ahead, Christine.
One of the things that I didn't know when I first started was how the billing cycle worked. So if an agent came to me, I wasn't sure. And so for those maybe who don't know, if you see a charge like you have on like the 1st or the 3rd, I'm looking at what you have up on your screen, Carrie, and the very end of it, like 12/1, there's an invoice, 12/3, there's an invoice, and 12/10, there's a payment. They told me that 12/10, that payment is actually for the prior month. So whatever they bill in November is actually paid in December. So they say, I just paid $110. Why do I have a $110 balance? That's why. So just in case somebody's newer and didn't know that.
No, that's very good insight. And that is correct. And trust me, nobody here loves this invoice. It's confusing. Quite frankly, a lot of the agents get confused by looking at it, but that is a good way of explaining it, that the what you paid this month was for the prior month. And then Sherry provided, and I appreciate this so much, and I'll get it to you guys out afterwards, but she provided the template that she has that just kind of explains, it's to the agent, which we got to update that address. I just noticed that should be 402. We keep moving ground on you guys. So I will get this sent out because it's a great template. It kind of explains to them, you have a little bit of a higher balance. We need to have you submit your credit card, perhaps, if you would like to do it that way, or if you would like to send a check, she provides the email address right there. So it's a great template. And of course, in Gmail, you save it as a template. That way you're not retyping it or copying and paste it every time. You have it at the ready to go. And then this agent billing credit card form, it can be found in Schmidt Resources. If you go to the People tab and go to our accounting square, you'll see right here, credit card payment update form. So what this is a jot form. It's completely secure. It only goes to 2 people in accounting, and it only saves the credit card information for 7 days or until it's read. So for example, I had a credit card expire. I needed to enter my new credit card information. I entered it today. As soon as either Kristen or Mike read that and enter that information to account tech, the system no longer saves it. Or if everybody's on vacation or we have a blizzard, which I don't think so, it's gorgeous out today here in Northern Michigan. If it goes 7 days without being read, the system also will expire it out. That data will be deleted. So it's a really secure way to send in credit card submissions for our agents. If you remember prior, it used to be Kristen would have to make a phone call. She'd have to jot down, the credit card number and then transfer it over to account tech. This makes it way more secure and a lot easier. And I can always tell when our agent billing notifications go out because we get 10 to 12 of these every time. People's credit cards expire, or unfortunately they get compromised and they have to get a new number or whatever it might be. So again, what Sherry did in her template, which I'll send out, is she copied this link and pasted it in there. But if you're looking for it, you want to go into People to the accounting square, and then it's right here, credit card payment update. This is also where you can find your direct deposit ACH update. If they're updating that information, even though they fill out that form, they'll get a phone call from accounting just to verify that A, it is them asking for that change, and B, just verifying that account information. And then we do have our new address update form. We're in real estate. We love real estate. We love to move a lot. So if your agents have moved, especially now when we should be paying attention to our W-9s, have them go here and update their address. That again will go to accounting. They'll be able to update Darwin and we'll have the current and correct information. Anything else to add, Sherry?
Oh, I did have something that I was thinking about when you did that, and now I don't remember what it was.
Well, I'll keep talking for a minute. I'm sure it'll come to you.
Oh, I know. And on the template too, a lot of times I just do a snip. You don't even necessarily have to download. I do a snip of like the bottom total of what theirs is and just kind of insert it within that email, which makes it really quick. And I do copy the manager on all of those as well so that they know where things are at. Because obviously it becomes a little bit of a sticky situation and kind of, that's why my note says it's a friendly reminder. But bottom line, if those totals do get up, it's really, I feel like a little bit more that manager needs to get involved then and figure out what needs to be done and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's important. The manager needs to know what's going on. You guys don't need to be fighting these battles. The manager, should be having these conversations. You guys are there to provide the information, which is super helpful. So the managers aren't having to log in and do the reports. So if you guys could do this, it really does helps out the agents because our agents don't really want to be in arrears. A lot of them just don't pay attention to those emails or, the auto generation from account tech. A lot of times it's just white noise for the agents. They don't pay attention to it. So your help on this is appreciated. Go ahead, Christine.
Another thing that's helpful to give to the manager if you're giving them this total that the agent owes is if they have a closing coming up that you can have it deducted from. So that gives language to the agent, to the manager when they talk to the agent. Hey, I see you've got a closing coming up. Looks like it'll cover this. You can start the conversation there. So just one other piece of information to give your manager.
Yeah, that's great. Just run their pending report.
Or include it in the email right there and just say, you do have a closing. And sometimes there's not one, but unfortunately, those that probably have more of a balance, probably the chances are may not have a closing coming up.
Sometimes that's the case.
Yeah.
Great. Any other comments or questions? You guys all look so festive today. I love it. I should have put on a pretty background too. Great. Well, I appreciate your time this evening or this afternoon, whatever. It just feels late, right? The shortest day of the year is coming up next week. So it just feels like it's late. But I appreciate your time. We'll see you on BlueSync tomorrow. Paul will be hosting about IT security and best practices for passwords. Just like the encrypted credit card form, you can never go wrong with cybersecurity and just staying on top of your game with best practices. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9:30. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.